Good morning, guys. This is Pranav Sharma this side from the Policy Tank. Presents Tank Talk powered by the Policy Tank. And today I'm your host, and I would like to welcome Ryan, which is our co host from the Genius U generation. And today we'll be talking about Bitcoin, data privacy, cyber security, economy, and agriculture and climate action. And this is our second part of our second episode, which we recorded earlier. So stay tuned together and thank you for waiting for this episode and continuing with us. And thank you for giving a lot of support and liking our podcast. So it is good for both of us, right, Ryan?
Oh, yes, definitely. Please do catch up on the first part of the episode so that you can make sense of what we're going to discuss going forward today.
And I guess our audience now today will be thinking about why these two people have used this spaceship background. They might be in the dilemma that
We
these
have to
guys
be in
have gone
sync.
mad. I guess.
Yeah. We're on the spaceship so we can have a big, planet eye view. So we can really, look at the issues that are important and what we should be focusing on. Yeah.
Rightly said, Ryan, that planet eye view is actually very much important when you look after such things, so either through the policy domain or in within the education, you should have that upper view so that you should, see things in a proper manner. Even if they get cluttered, you are able to resolve them then. So,
Mm.
very rightly said in a very fun manner. So, yeah. So, let's start our today's podcast. So, continuing from the last podcast, Ryan, would you like to give a brief review about about what we discussed last in the last podcast, and how we what we will be discussing today? Would you like to give a brief about it?
No problem. So the last time we actually covered topics such as cybersecurity, how I almost got scammed in pretty horrendous ways, probably scarred for life, and also how we are looking at promoting digital literacy among anyone actually. As long as you have internet access, you have openness, willingness to learn, you can
Yeah,
definitely safeguard yourselves from the scammers in the present and the scammers of the future,
yeah,
right? And we also did cover the idea of smart cities and how the smart cities can be localized
yeah.
according to where you live, such that you have a very light carbon footprint on the planet, and then together we can collectively protect it from further degradation.
Yeah. And we also talked about aspects of cybersecurity, the loopholes, how it can affect the economy as a whole, and safeguarding mechanism and recommendations which can be provided, because in today's time when we talk about policies or implementing things, we also talk about that how in a more collaborative manner of both public and private, like on the base of public private partnership, how we can work together by joining hands with government. So this is very much important in today's time, that that yes, the young talented youth should also come in and help the bureaucrats, the politicians, or whether they are policy makers, so to help them out and frame policies in such a manner so that we can make it more resilient and more safe for the society and for the people as a whole. And so today's topic is how dealing with AI and technology, what we can create us in a circular economy. So I would like to discuss this thing, Ryan, with you today. That majority of time people talk about when we say that dealing with technologies like AI or IoT, what first
Mm.
thing comes in our mind is, oh, cities, urban cities, but no one thinks about about rural areas or villages. So we don't want to get delve into urban areas or cities. We want to focus on the rural areas, villages, how we can make villages smart,
Mm.
smart villages based on the concept of a smart cities project, by also fulfilling the energy requirements based on sustainable lines. So, would you like to shed light upon this thing, Ryan?
Mm. Yep, definitely. If you allow me to just share my screen, and then we
Yeah,
can get a collective sense of the situation at hand.
yeah,
Okay, but first I'd like to say that recently, at the time of this recording, actually, Google and OpenAI have already released updates, right, about how AI is gonna progress in the future, and it seems like things are really shifting very quickly,
yeah,
right? A lot of people were mind blown by the latest transformations, the latest updates. So no doubt we're going to see this accelerated progression in the years to come, or maybe in the months to come, right? So
yeah,
one of the idea is that AI and technology will eventually become so democratized, right? That even the villagers have no excuse to say, "Oh, we no, we cannot access it, or we don't know how to use it." Right? You'll be so democratized, even from the mobile phone, you can do a lot of things with it, right?
yeah,
So, with the slide I'm sharing now, we're actually going to look at how, how this convergence of all these technologies can actually improve the lives of the people,
yeah,
even in the rural villages, and then
yeah,
resolve the problems that you have expertly put together, right? These are the no
yeah,
poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, and even the sustainable city, right?
yeah,
Mm. Yeah. So the last time we were actually on this slide as well. So we covered things like the windmill to give us green energy, solar chimneys, and even what you've mentioned just now, the IoT and AI. We can actually integrate this into 3D printers, right? And portable cute 3D printers can carry around and then print products on the spot for for daily use, for daily repair, right? And if you need any further resources, we can get them from the surrounding environment, so from nature, even from the animal farms that we have at hand, right? Local food farms, and of course, when the food comes out through our gut, we will have compost toilets to make the best use of the waste possible, such that it fertilizes the earth. So that is where we also feed the circular economy, and we have this sustainable system that can last for generations. So, what do you think about this visualization?
no, of course, this visualization is very good, and um, uh, if we can work on these things, then we can bring up a lot of changes. But the one thing before this thing, Ryan, I would like to discuss with you that by achieving on this level also, like while coming on this level also, you need to first of all do a prepare a baseline for that, a launch pad. So today, as we are talking about that, how to create that launch pad first, because many a times what happens is that government says this thing that okay, we are lack of funds, we are struggling with the funding and all, and we cannot create such things over there within the villages because we don't know how to create economies in a circular economy over there, and it is very hard, and people find it very hard when it comes to such things. But as the think tank and as the policy organization, as the consultants, what we say is that yes, no, it is not an issue, it's not a problem. Even if we are short of money, then also it's not a very big problem in today's time, because if you want to say that what that concept means, smart cities and smart villages, people have this misconception. First of all, that they think that if you remember, or I don't know, might be aware about this thing. There was one movie which came back in 2012 or 13 about the movie title was Love Story 2050.
Mm,
So the visualization was done in such a manner that the bikes are going into the air. They are moving bikes in air, car, flying cars, flying bikes, and also very high tech city, very much. So people think that they have this perception that oh, smart cities or smart villages means that thing. No, but the actual meaning of a smart village, or be it a smart city, is how well planned a city or a village is, you know, and how
agree.
people should do their things in that planned manner. And I would love to give example of India. Like there are two cities, and I like I personally, feel proud when I say talk about these cities. First is our first planned city of India, that is Chandigarh, and second, very clean city, if you'll talk about it, is called Indore. And when we talk about clean villages also, so if you'll go into northeast eastern India, so in eastern India also there are some villages like Mausanram, Cherrapunji, very clean villages. You'll not able to see even a single litter or garbage over there. So these villages are so clean, and so that is our vision, that why we are talking today about smart villages, that we can also generate circular economy over there. And it comes through SDG goals itself, that that when we talk about clean energy and hygiene, if we can maintain hygiene and clean energy, then we can talk about that creating sustainable villages and sustainable cities, and generating circular economy over there. So that is the thing which I feel like, or that in the way collaborative manner, public and private partnership should go on, and it work for the greater good of the people.
Definitely, right? So I would envision an era whereby even the local rural villages are so empowered that they can contribute directly to the policy making giants that are in the
Yeah,
cities, right? So there's this kind of flow. And also to add on to your idea of the cities in India, Singapore as well, although we are a metropolis, we also are making it much more green and sustainable, such
yeah,
as, and also more livable, so to speak, because we have a lot of buildings there. And
yeah,
the thing, because I studied architecture in university, so
yeah,
it came to mind this horrifying fact that if the buildings are too huge, right, and there's not enough green pockets in between the buildings. Now imagine you're a little lizard. You have to get from one green pocket to another, right? But the thing is that the green pockets are spaced so far apart,
yeah,
right? And you probably die of exhaustion or thirst or get fried by the sun before you can even reach the next green pocket. So if you look down to the local flora and fauna level, right, that could be
yeah,
pretty catastrophic, right? For these animals and insects that are vital to our ecosystems. Yeah. And also the fact that pedestrians, now we look back at the humans, the pedestrians themselves can also face danger from cars and huge vehicles, right? And even the
yeah,
bicycles sometimes. So I think that's why we banned the PW, those personal devices, mobility devices that could be very harmful. I think those two-wheeled ones that you stand on, yeah. And there were also bicycle lanes that being created. So that way, even at the traffic light, there are separate lanes for the bicycles and for the pedestrians. So that way, the safety is assured for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think to me that is one way of being smart in the city as well. Not just the technology and all the glam, right? But also the psychology, how you can ensure safety and accessibility for everyone involved.
Yeah, yeah. And then through, by achieving first of all this thing, then we can, move ahead with the technology part. So once the things are well planned, then technology come into a picture, and play a major role over there when we talk about maintaining things, because we use technology for maintenance, for the maintaining of the things, and to increasing the productivity through from a particular sector, or you can say from a particular area, because as you say that that if you can picturize, or think about a particular village, people have this image or picture in the mind, that okay, villages looks like this, where there are lack of resources,
Mm,
there are lack of transport, you cannot find much things within the villages. But this is also yeah, and to the extent it is very much true also, but it is not the fault of the people which are living in the villages. It is it is just from the lines that, when we talk about on the lines of marketing, people, place, price, and partnership. So people never marketized villages. They only focused at the first point in the cities, and that is the only issue which is happening right now, that of migration.
mm,
But when if we can, in today's time, if we can focus on the rural areas, along with that energy sector companies can come up into the picture, along with the MSME sector companies, so that they can generate a circular economy over there. And once they are there, they can get things developed over there from the side of government, be it transportation, with be it electricity, be it sanitation, anything. And which also covers hospitality, hospitals, service cares and all. So through this way, actually, you can generate a circular economy within the villages. And then you can talk about, oh, now in current times, there is a set marketplace, there are hospitals, there are banks and all, and there are everything which are going on. So now how to manage these things in a proper manner through the technology, that is what actually the smart city or smart village concept means. And this
mm,
is how we want to actually thrive for such concepts, you know because many times people juggle around many things, but lost the path. They leaves that path and diverts themselves. But as the think tank, it is also our responsibility how to to guide them, to showcase this thing. Okay, this is the straight path. In this way you can do things, achieving things step by step. So yeah, that can be the futuristic approach, and more mature approach, I would say.
mm. Correct. And to add on to that, for the policy to be appreciated, the people also must be able to have a sense of how the
Yeah,
process is going to happen, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, I mean, you and I know that there will be a lot of people who will be very immediately critical, immediately cynical, right? And they'll say, "Oh, why do you have to do this when you could just do that?" Right? But they don't think deeply about the consequences, you know. So, as long as there are very clear
yeah,
parameters that are shown to them that this is why we must do this so that this can happen to its best, then there'll be the best compliance and appreciation for the policies, the processes involved.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So now, Ryan, I would like go on to another topic and another question from you. As we discussed about all these things, right? We discussed about bitcoins, data privacy, cyber security, and then
mm,
we delved into how AI and IoT can help building areas like rural areas or cities in a more productive manner. So would you like to give it a picture that how all these things, in what manner, in what capacity, are also related to SDGs, and how they align with the goals of SDGs, which are also a mandate of UN?
mm. Well, there's one thing I learned in my 30 years of existence is that money rules the world. I mean at this current stage, right?
Yeah,
So especially if you live in the city, you definitely need money to purchase food, purchase shelter, to purchase sanitation, right? So the thing is, if I were to be put into a rural area instead, I don't actually need the money to survive. I
yeah,
can look to nature, right? It's kind of like those kind of man versus wild. I don't know if you heard that TV series before, right?
yeah,
Imagine you just put in nature there. How would you survive, right? So the coins and notes and credit cards won't help already. Now the idea is to look at the abundance of nature and see how you can create sustainable systems to keep your basic functions alive, right? So having a good knowledge of the local flora and fauna, for example, right? How do you make simple shelters? You know,
Yeah.
I think the Japanese have always been an inspiration for me because they're able to use just very simple materials they can find naturally, and then
Yeah.
they can build these very intricate, even earthquake-proof shelters, right? You know, and then
Yeah.
it's also part of their culture, their tradition to renew the buildings every once in a while. So
Hmm.
if you actually look across the generations, right, the buildings always look new, right?
Yeah.
Because they use
True.
renewable resources. They
Yeah. Yeah.
rebuilt the buildings from the start. So you compare this with the West, right, where the huge buildings are like crumbling because they're made of stone and all that. But then
Yeah.
in the East, the buildings are like, wow, they're like, they were just like freshly built again yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something that we can learn. Nature's cyclic behavior that we
Yeah.
can very much apply to our own
Yeah.
thriving and livelihood.
Yeah. So aligning with the nature, right? So that we can also not affect the nature.
Mm,
Yeah.
correct. So in
Yeah.
that sense, right, no poverty. There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, you still need the money when it comes to perhaps more important things, like you need to pay for a service or something. But that can come in later. I mean, what we have to look at is definitely our basic, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our basic needs, right? Shelter, food, and that's where we can also solve the zero hunger problem by growing our own food, right? And also, I think one thing about our consumerist society today is that we have to kind of find a way to learn how to want less. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So the human greed, that is something that has to be uh kind of like addressed. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just like I want more, I want more, I want more, even though I don't need it, and then we end up stripping the earth of its natural resources. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
Mm.
developing things from the forest produce, while bringing up indigenous peoples from the indigenous tribes, so that
Mm.
we can work on uh, what is that word, um, mm, herbal,
Sustenance.
no, that herbal things, like what
Herbalism.
yeah, yeah, herbal things,
Mm.
like more natural things, bringing into
Mm.
the market, bringing into the supply chain, so and
Ah.
if you
Mm.
see today, in today's time, the demand of such things has increased. People want such things more, which are forest produce, which are, because those products are very nutritious and very very good for health.
Mm.
And by promoting such things, I guess we can provide more sustainable income and more sustainable create more sustainable workplaces out there, by aligning with the nature, because we are getting that thing from the nature itself, and it is not that non-renewable.
Mm.
So that thing we can do. And apart from that, that opening up industries like handloom industries, focusing upon the specific geographical indication tags. What is the specialty about a particular place when it comes
Mm.
to a particular product, so that we can also create awareness about, okay, this place is like of this place, this thing is very famous, so we can increase the sales also then accordingly, right?
Mm.
So and by working on the you know transportation, by working on the how the roads and transport, if they are good, people can also come and go very easily without being hesitant. So these things, I guess, play a major role when it comes to SDGs also. And while, as we discussed, that no poverty, so if people can work on this thing, that there will be no poverty itself within their communities and within their areas. And what do you think, Ryan, that how it is related to the our next SDG, SDG 2, zero
Mm.
hunger?
Yeah. Well, I guess right for humans really care about the environment around them. They have to. I think the reality is that we have to pack the thriving of the environment to the self-interest of the humans.
Yeah.
right? So for example, I can say, please care about this spider here, right? But then not many people may see the big picture. They might just end up squashing
Mm.
the spider, right? But
Yeah.
what if you reframe it such that with if you take out this spider
Yeah.
can spin a special kind of silk, and then the
Yeah.
silk can form the latest fashion products for you.
Yeah.
So you see how it shifted the whole frame of mindset. Suddenly, like, oh, I must protect this spider because the spider is gonna help my industry, right?
Yeah.
Of the the
Yeah.
silk, the new silk shirt, right? And then the
True.
silk selling the silk shirt can get me income to buy food, right? Or the buying the income can help me to upgrade my local farm, which can then produce
True.
food on its own, right? So
True.
I feel that if you peg it to the self-interest of the human, then naturally things will fall into place, and then you start to see the human become more caring and taking care of
Yeah.
all the plants and animals around them. Otherwise, no, they would just go, why should I care? And then uh, no, they'll just go on and destroy the world like how things are happening now. Yeah.
Yeah, which automatically leads up to SDG 3, which is good health and well-being. That if they are filled from the gut, and now and if they focus upon the hygiene part, and also then yeah, they will become more healthy health-wise, and in the well-being, and which directly can focus upon SDG 11,
Mm,
which is sustainable communities and cities, for by also targeting audience like students. So as we also already talked about this stuff, that but yeah, the another element is how we can impact more students by
mm.
focusing upon quality education into it.
Ah, okay.
You
Actually, you brought a good point there. Okay. Although first I'd like to add on that definitely the good health and well-being is very much important because I've also been watching videos, Pranav, about the indigenous tribes, be it from Africa, from Asia, from uh, North
Yeah,
America, right? So all the
yeah,
ancient wisdom, and they really see themselves as the guardians of the environment. Not like
yeah,
not like a modern city man who sees the environment as a place to exploit. Rather,
yeah,
all these indigenous people see the environment as a place to protect, to shepherd, right? Which
yeah,
I feel is a very uh, powerful mindset to have because when you care for nature, nature will care back for you,
yeah. True.
right?
Very true.
Yeah. And so this is where education comes in, which I agree with. So are you able to see the next slide here?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually um, part of my adventures in the past where I was teaching for a social enterprise. Okay, so this social
mhm,
enterprise teaches design thinking to kids, okay, on how to create sustainable cities.
yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
nice.
so what we did, right, was that the kids would come to class on the weekend, and then we will teach them ways to reuse all these like so-called trash and turn them into
Yeah,
treasure.
yeah.
Okay, so as you can see here, what do you think is happening in the in the picture here?
I guess these are the wooden blocks, and you are assembling it in a bottle, and then I might be wrong, but
Mm,
getting it fixed from the glue, and then making it making it as a stand for sitting things. So I
mm.
guess for that it is.
Yes, correct. It's pretty similar to the bottle brick kind of project. I think it happens in India and other countries as well. They take all these plastic bottles, fill them with mud or dirt or whatever trash, and then use these bottles as like building blocks to build shelters.
Yeah,
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 so this is one way we can contribute to the
yeah. Because
circular economy.
yeah, from this thing,
Mm,
because students also learns from the practical experience, and giving students practical experience is very important thing in today's time, because
mm,
until unless will not give them a practical experience, they'll not understand, they'll not develop that understanding, that that humility for the
mm,
people, for the environment, and for the earth, that how they should actually focus upon these things, how converting these things into a resilient environment, or
mm,
resilient work systems and work processes, so as to they should not harm the environment, and become more responsible
mm,
as a whole. So this approach actually is very much true, and very much impactful when it comes to educating these things, and achieving the SDG 11, which is sustainable communities. So yeah,
Mm,
that is all about all these stuff, and this is how we can achieve our major goal, which is converting cities and rural areas, villages, or tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities within the ambit, like keeping things in sustainability in mind and getting them more smarter, so
mm.
that the output should be you know enhanced.
Yes, exactly. And of course, we also have to contend with the consumerism of today. So the kids of today, they grew up in a pretty um, polarized world, right? They have to deal with the mindsets of the consumerists on one hand, and they also have
Yeah,
to look at the environmentalist
yeah,
perspective, right? So they could be torn in between both, right? But once again, we try to bring in the self-interest. What if, there are certain things they can't help but want to consume, but can they
yeah,
use it to better the environment or better their place in the environment? So this is another
yeah,
project we looked at whereby we took the 8 cartons and 1.5 liter bottles because everyone has to drink and eat food, right? But what happens to
yeah,
the packaging? Can we reuse them for something that benefits us while also saving the environment, right? So,
yeah,
mm, so actually, Pranav, if you try blowing, onto your palm, right, with your mouth, open your mouth big and then blow, you get hot air. But if you
yeah,
purse your lips, like you're kissing someone and then you blow, you get cool air.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So that forms the basis for aircon already.
yeah,
So
yeah,
instead of having a electricity generating aircon in certain areas, what if you just have like scores of bottles and cartons, just put there, and then the natural wind comes through. It's actually quite effective, from what I've seen on the internet. Yeah. So that way
yeah,
you save on the electricity bill because you don't even need the aircon, and you
yeah,
leverage nature to give you that cooling
true,
breeze. Yeah.
true. Yeah. So great. So I guess today our audience actually like this topic, that what we like, continue today, the keeping it in the form of continuing it from the earlier podcast, and
Mm.
by the brilliant examples you put, Ryan, the way it is actually, I am actually very much amazed by these sort of activities and things which you have been doing from the very past time, very long time. So it's actually amazing, that it also increases the responsiveness also.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, well, the thing is, we see this when the kids are young, right? When their brains are, very open to learning, like sponges, right, so to speak. So,
yeah,
we see that idea in them, and then hopefully in the future they will remember these and translate this into world-saving
yeah,
methods and
yeah,
policies also that they can apply in their
yeah,
adult lives, right? So whether
yeah,
it's like from starting from a rural village, growing your own
yeah,
fish farms, chicken and egg farms, hydroponic vegetables, and then
yeah,
expanding to the larger, urban cities. There's
true,
always this mindset from the start that they should take care of the
true,
environment and be stewards, just like the indigenous tribes.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So I hope today you liked our video, and the second part what we presented today. And do watch our first video if you have not watched our first video, and then come up to this video. And thank you, Ryan, thank you for today, presenting all these things. And I would like to ask you if you can give a cliffhanger, and talk about where people can find you, and see your other works what you have done in the past. So would you like to tell them quickly?
Okay, thank you. Well, you can easily find me on LinkedIn. Just search up my name, Ryan Nicholas Leong, and you should be able to see all the adventures I've been up to. Yeah, of course, all this is in service of the greater good, right? For a better world, for a better mindset for humanity, right? And of course, this will also create new conversation points to talk about with you, Pranav, when we look at our later episodes and with
Yeah,
our future guests as well. Yeah,
yeah,
so let's all collaborate together. This is the age of
yeah,
collaboration, and
yeah.
let's leverage the technology to help us out.
Yeah, and I guess people have also started liking our, our both of our, both of us together being into a podcast, as me as the host and you as the co-host also in the, in another episode. So yeah, we are getting a very good responses out of it. So yeah, so looking forward to, other episodes, like, recording with you, not and I hope that, the other episode will not that be, on online, but yeah, want to do with you on the in a physical manner too. So
Mhm.
that would be great. And I would like to tell our audience that yes, apart from these podcasts, also we are doing our events. We are planning up our upcoming events together within the colleges, within the schools. And yes, if you feel like that, that you want to invite us for, having some discussions, or if you have some any suggestion, you can give us. And we would love to visit your places, your organizations, either be it school, colleges, and, universities. So we are most welcome. And we look forward, to create more difference within the societies. And yes, if you want to catch us, you can catch us on the Policy Tanks website, or apart from that, on our LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, Twitter. And you can just search @ the Policy Tank, and you'll be able to find us. Thanks again. Thanks a lot for watching us and giving us the time. Thanks a lot. See you.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everyone. Take care.